Well, before the break, we were talking about some of the housing headaches gripping this country right now. One question is, can Canada build its way out of housing uncertainty? Governments sometimes can stand in the way, sometimes they can help, but certainly you've got other factors out there, material costs, labor, and obviously the other big story has been population growth in this country. Well, the CD Howe Institute has been looking at some possible solutions to addressing the supply side, and Ben Dachis is Associate Vice President of Public Affairs at CD Howe Institute and joins us with some more context. Ben, nice to see you.
Thanks for having me back on.
So, I think we cover off what's happening with interest rates and all the general factors that sort of can weigh on the market itself. But on the supply side, what are you seeing across the country when it comes to addressing this affordability issue, some of the possible solutions to this right now?
Yeah, well, what we find is that in at least two of our major urban areas, the Greater Toronto area and in the Vancouver area, there are significant restrictions on supply. And that's fundamentally much of the cause of the very high price that people are facing.
Yeah. And so, every time we say, well, let's build more homes, let's make more housing supply available, when you look at the actual data or the numbers, what are the issues that stand in the way of that?
Well, what we've looked at is over the last 10 years, there are systemic barriers to supply. And you can fundamentally chalk it down, chalk it up to, in a lot of cases, government policy. It's not always government policy, but it really is the largest individual cause. And this is both at the municipal level and sometimes at the provincial level.
What would be a couple of examples that, get the roadblocks per se?
Yeah. So the one that jumps to mind right away are some of the upfront charges that cities are imposing on home buyers. Now, they're called development charges, the theory being that developers are paying for them, but invariably they get passed on to home buyers. And those costs that are put onto new construction end up having a ripple effect throughout the entire market. So these upfront charges that are, for the most part, the largest single item, at least in most of the GTA, Greater Toronto area, the largest single item is for water and wastewater. We've got to reform those because these kinds of upfront charges really can be paid for over time. But the way that we're doing it right now is really just a debt transfer. Whereas cities are not taking on debt, they're saying, we're just going to pass this on to home buyers, and it has a ripple effect on all home buyers across the GTA.
How big of an undertaking is it to sort of say, let's get those charges out of the way?
It'll be a significant undertaking. Let's be honest about it. In terms of the water and wastewater utilities structure that we need to create, we need to create a regulator to define how we're going to take upfront capital costs that are currently just a big upfront charge right now, and figure out a way in which we're going to spread that cost over time. Then we have to rethink the financing model. We have to rethink how cities are going to be issuing debt, if at all, or are they going to try to try to create a utility model that the city doesn't own and is offered by someone else. There are lots of different implications, but this is just one big thing that we've got to do. There are lots of other solutions that we can take that could benefit homebuyers right away.
Well, it strikes me that at a time when we are seeing sizable population growth, and there's a very committed strategy on that front, which helps our GDP picture, but to not have what feels like a parallel track for these issues like housing and how that's going to be part of that story sometimes seems. I think it's frustrating to people who are trying to find affordable housing right now.
So those federal immigration numbers don't have a corollary for the most part at the municipal planning level. The province,
which is key to the housing development story.
So the province in the last year or so has put in place a requirement or a request, at least for cities, to put in place what are called in Ontario, what's called a housing pledge. And so a couple cities in the GTA have committed to that. And what the province has done is given those cities that have committed to a housing pledge the ability for the mayor to have more powers to execute on them. But now the question becomes, what next? Who's going to hold these mayors to account? What are the penalties to cities for not instituting these kinds of instituting plans that meet these housing targets?
So speaking of mayors, the city of Toronto just elected a new mayor, and that's a great example where everybody seemed to be talking about housing affordability, but how do you actually execute on that? At the municipal level. Yeah,
it's worth nerding out on a little bit of zoning policy and planning policy to give listeners a sense of what's going to happen next. So the way that these housing targets work, housing plans work, is that the province sets the framework. Cities then execute against that, and for certain policies, there's a provincial check-in, where the province has the ability to say yay or nay on a lot of municipal policies. So years and years ago, the province, like 3 or 4 years ago, the province sent out a directive to all cities that they are to submit their plans in terms of how they're going to meet, at least in the GTA, growth targets. All the cities submitted their plans last year. The province has already sent back revisions, most notable being to Hamilton back in October, November, in terms of their plans. They've been holding on that for Toronto. The province has not yet sent a directive back to the city in terms of what how the city is going to plan to execute on provincial growth targets. So watch this space. Watch where the province is going to go in terms of directing the city, in terms of the city's own growth targets.
Just a final question, because if cutting through the red tape essentially would be a key way to create more housing supply, we were just talking about the wealth gap that is growing in this country, which, can't be seen as an encouraging thing for the Trudeau government, which has been hoping to actually narrow that. Would the federal government see an opportunity to maybe step in and try to, allow for everybody to work a little bit more in a coordinated fashion, or does it become a political hot potato?
Yeah, I'd be very reluctant to get more governments involved, where they can, where we end up shifting blame. If everyone's accountable, everyone's to blame. Voters don't know exactly who's fundamentally responsible for housing policy. We need to make a particular level of government accountable, and it should be at the municipal level.
Okay.